Hello and welcome to episode 14 of Ultra Q. My name is Red. I am joined by Mel.
I should have read a feminist theory for this episode.
And I'm joined by Razin.
Hello. I've done even less reading.
Neither of you can have done less than me. I have done nothing on account of the fact. So, for the listener, apologies for the last episode being a little late. I have had what I am terming the perfect bad week, in the sense that no one died, I didn't lose my job, but everything else that could go wrong did. So I I've fled to an entirely different place that has internet so that I can record this podcast, and so that I could upload. You ever tried to download audio tracks using cafe Wi-Fi on your phone because your laptop doesn't like change? It's not fun. Nonetheless, we made it. I don't have anything to talk about, except I wouldn't have anything to talk about if it wasn't for the fact that From Software released a trailer for Armored Core 6.
Hell, yeah, they did.
I didn't watch it.
Oh man, it's a pretty good trailer. I like the look of that video game.
Same. This is what I'm most excited about this year. Surprising nobody.
What? You're crazy. It's crazy.
I watched. I'm not really a Vati fan, but I watched his video this morning about the Armored Core, and besides him getting defensive about the Souls-like stuff, which is very funny, he did point out something that is like my one concern about Armored Core 6 that I'm like, I don't know, which is it looks like in some footage there might be like a much harder lock-on than there has been before, which I like the aiming in Armored Core. I like the fact that you have to really wrestle with your mech to put enemies in your line of sight.
It's going to become virtual on now.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows?
I think what's happening, I do think that the harder lock-on is going to be a thing. I'm curious to give it a shot, though, because what it seems like they're doing is they have added a stagger mechanic. And it seems like when you stagger the enemy is when you're supposed to go in for, like, big melee damage. So you're kind of weaving in and out. I'm curious how that ends up playing moment to moment. From the look of it at the trailers, I'm liking it a lot. I feel like it's making good on a lot of the promises of the 4th gen of Armored Core that was loose in a very fun way and very, very one of the fastest video games I've ever played. But then you hit a problem where when things got very close range, it was just kind of clunky, and every melee option seemed to be reduced to a get the fuck out of my face button, before you started flying in the sky again and taking pot shots at each other. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with it. There definitely seems to be a lot of Sekiro influence in particular because the guy behind that game is the person who's taking charge on this one. Yeah. So I should finish that video game at some point. I
like that video game a lot. I like one of my favorite, just some of my favorite From Software bosses in that game. Just very fun. But yeah, listen, they're pretty good.
I like them a lot.
Yeah. Like I said, I haven't really done anything else this week. Have mostly been trying to figure out how to get internet, and been having issues with trains. It's like I will find this week very funny in 2 weeks' time. Is the type of bad week it's been.
Yeah. It's okay. We understand that you left your wife and child to go to an alternate dimension, and then the train wouldn't let you back on.
Oh yeah. I had to get out. The I love his realization is just, no, I should have gone. I should have left.
This is terrible.
Yeah.
If you're
I don't
confused
have
about
anything
that,
else.
you should go watch Ultra Q.
Yeah. What are you doing here? Get out.
Speaking of trains.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I started
no.
playing the new cringe ass gacha by the Genshin Impact people. We'll see how long I stick with this one.
Tell us about the cringe gacha from the Genshin people.
Honestly, I don't have too much to say, and I don't want to use my platform to spread awareness of this video game, because here's how they get you. Is they're gonna get assholes like me, who, like, play these for a little bit to go, like, yeah, it seems fun or cool or whatever, and then I'm not gonna spend money on it, and we'll probably drop this in, like, 20 hours time or whatever. But then, through my recommendations, people that will play it for a long amount of time and will spend money will be drawn to the game. That's how this always works.
I remember seeing someone. I'm not gonna name drop anyone, but I remember seeing someone talking about how gacha mechanics are like it's a unique way to pace a game, and I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I would say a bad way to pace the game, because every single time I've tried and stopped playing one of these, it's because it's like, oh, I hit the point where you're just trying to fucking annoy me into wasting more of my time than I'm willing to give you, or breaking out the credit card. Okay, bye.
I remember just seeing someone just speaking in praise of the paywall as like a way to make sure that people don't binge a video game, and I was like, that's not why that exists. You're an idiot. You shouldn't be talking about this shit.
Yeah, you could just, I don't know, make a game that works.
Yeah. The last year or two of my life have been me, even beyond gacha, playing a lot to try to, I guess, I don't know if I want to say understand the appeal, but just find a, like, live service thing that, like, I resonate with, because I do understand, this is what video games is to a lot of people. It is one big game that they continuously go back to, and kind of, it becomes a point of socialization between them and other people. And, like, I've had games like that in my life, but the difference is that they almost always are either more like open sandboxes in terms of, like, self-improvement or creativity in some way, or they're even like strategy games, like Paradox things. Like I think I've talked on this podcast before, I've put way too many hours into Crusader Kings 2, and I haven't found one of these, like, forever game things that I haven't become at least a little bit annoyed by it in some way, or has not. I reach a point with all of these games where I'm just like, I can't do this and have a full-time job at the same time. I want time to do other things in my life. And I feel like I keep running up against things where I'm just realizing that maybe these perpetually updated games aren't necessarily for me through some quirk or another. On the opposite end of the spectrum, I need to get back to streaming Final Fantasy XIV, because there are elements of that game I do like a lot, and I know I'm in the quote-unquote bad slog part of it. Part of the reason, in my mind, that game is a bad slog is because I am going through the part of the game that literally cannot be allowed to have friction, because they need people to just never get stuck in this video game and perpetually keep playing it. But that means for people like me that want to get engaged with the combat system, or, like, think about what I'm doing in battles, I'm just getting a lot of long hallway corridor fights where I'm just going through and hitting all of the big damage buttons, and am not required to engage with any form of pushback whatsoever on the game's part. And the few times where I do, I just die immediately, respawn, and then just do it again right the second time, and it's not very rewarding. And I'm desperately hoping I get to a point in that game where I have to use a single brain cell.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say I'm also not really much of a live service game person, and I also have similarly bounced off of gacha games and FF14, at least for Realm Reborn, which I haven't gone further than that.
I think the thing that, like, makes it different for me from a lot of the people I know who, like, really fall in love with these is just, like, after a while, the repetition starts to become annoying because it starts to feel like a treadmill for me, where it's like this is like an engagement farming thing where you just want me to spend as much time as possible doing this, and I feel like I start to get jaded very easily, and start to get diminishing returns out of doing the repetition of it all.
Yeah, I mean, there's like gacha games I'm like interested in, to be honest, partly because of like aesthetics and stuff. Like, I had an interest in like checking out Arknights because of the drip everyone has. To be honest, I mean, those girls are dressed fine. And then also like Honkai Third, it was like, oh, this is a neat looking action game that I don't know, also seems to be gay and has a cool plot. So I'm like interested in that as well, which made me also curious enough about like Star Rail, which I feel like we didn't actually talk about, to be honest.
No, I need to warp back around. I need to loop back around to that.
So I'm actually a bit curious to hear what you say, because I might maybe try it out. Maybe.
So
curious,
it's so
but like also
so as
we're anti-gambling here.
Yeah.
So it's a turn-based RPG.
Yes. And I will give them credit. I have tried many other turn-based... Sorry, not many. I've tried a couple other turn-based RPG gachas. The only one that really stuck with me as like, okay. Here's a brief history of my gacha experience. I tried the Yoko Taro one with the fucked up goth girls. I don't even remember its name. Sino Alice, was it?
Yeah.
That was the game that made me convinced, sometimes Yoko Taro can phone it in too. That game's story was terrible. I tried Grand Blue because everyone described it as like, okay, this is like kind of like a pocket Final Fantasy. I thought it was very boring and stripped down to like the basics of RPGs, to the point that I didn't think it was fun. Character designs look cool and stuff, I guess. Like, maybe I'll play that like big action RPG when it comes out. I like that fighting game affair enough bit, but the actual gacha game, thought it was boring. World Flipper is a pinball thing, so that's kind of different. That was probably the one I stuck with the most. And that's just because, on my lunch break, I'm like, oh, hey, 5 minutes of pinball. And I never hit a point with that where it was, like, annoying about grinding or, like, spending cash. Unless you want to, like, really do the optional raid multiplayer boss stuff, which I don't give a shit about. I'm just there to, like, have something to do with my hands and watch the ball fly around and kill enemies. So at least, like, with that one, the girl stuff is kind of more off to the side for the sickos to engage with. What else did I play? Final Fantasy Tactics War of the Visions I actually thought was alright as a Final Fantasy Tactics-like, and seems to, from my experience, have the best story out of any of the ones I tried. And then there was a Romancing Saga one that I'm surprised is still alive, because there's me and 12 other people that care about Saga in that way.
It is funny that
I don't know how it's running.
Maybe Kawazu just has that much pull, because he can somehow just keep Saga alive because he wants it to.
And I respect him for that. I love Kawazu.
Just him and like 8 zombies.
One day I will do the Saga dive. But anyway, back to the actual topic.
So the Romancing Saga gacha, I was like, okay, I can respect them for trying to do the weirdo, like, Saga character progression and gimmicky, like, battle system stuff in, like, this framework, but I still found it kind of boring. And part of the reason I like Saga is often the worlds are laid out really weird, and the stories are non-linear in a way that are kind of fascinating to watch play out every playthrough. Mm-hmm. And without all that stuff also keeping me afloat, I just lost interest in that one. What I will give Star Rail credit for is you immediately get thrown into a battle system that you have to actively watch out for enemy weaknesses, honestly in a way that feels slightly Megaten adjacent. And you immediately get characters that can chain off of other characters' attacks. You have a Final Fantasy X style, like, initiative stack for the turn order.
Hello.
And they introduced a thing that I actually found pretty cool, which was your characters have limit breaks or overdrives, like Final Fantasy style, but you can activate them anytime in the turn order. So you might get attacked in the middle of a bunch of enemies' turns, and then that fills up your limit break, and then you can use that kind of as like a get-out-of-jail-free card to kill some of the enemies that are going to go next. And like the one thing that made me kind of shocked by this game is that they finally did the thing that none of these live service games across like genre have done, that I've been baffled by, which is the beginning actually has gameplay that makes you think and requires you to be engaged and isn't just something that you hit buttons by, which shocked me. Like, even during the tutorial part of the stage, I started to not pay attention and just go, oh yeah, it's a random encounter, and then like I wiped and I went, oh shit, this never happens in any of these games. They never require you to actually engage with the mechanics.
I don't like this because this means they are doing Megaten. This means this is fucking this is all very bleak. This is all like very like yeah.
They're making a real video game, but it's gambling. You can't just.
This is the worst. Yeah.
Yeah. My major impression from what I've played, I don't even know what, because all of these games have a fucking daily thing you're supposed to do. I feel like how long I stick with this one will probably be related to what that is, because part of the reasons I jumped off of Genshin was, one, I realized, oh wow, you did the Breath of the Wild exploration stuff I like a lot, but you made it the most sick Ubisoft style like content farm imaginable, and I kind of hate it. Well, okay, three things. Two, the story was just fucking awful. And it was like, oh hey, we have to go stop this guy. We have to go to 3 different shrines. And I'm like, I don't fucking care anymore. Stop this fetch quest nonsense. And then third, they would have you do like 4 daily quests, and I started to get to a point where I would get longer ones, and I would just go, oh, I don't want to do this. And I just hit a point where I'm like, I'm not having fun. I'm done. But yeah, like, I'm shocked because one of my main criticisms of many of these games I've tried, even the ones that people like a lot or have a bit of critical acclaim, is like, why can't you just make it fun at the start? Why do I need to, like, why does the game need to start to become engaging or, like, actively make me think about mechanics only 30 plus hours in? How come I can't get to customization and character build decisions that don't feel like they matter until like deep in? I don't need this frictionless like onboard, and it seems like Star Rail is finally that. And yeah, I feel weird about it because it's like, oh no, they're actually making like things that are fun that have, and you know, they do the thing where they give you a bunch of free shit for being an early player, and I've done the polls, and it's like, ooh, I got a cool girl with funnels. I want a cool girl with funnels. Yeah. So here's the other thing. I am playing all these from what I feel is a very unique perspective. For people that aren't familiar with me, I'm demisexual, and I do not get attracted to fictional characters easily. Like, I can count on one hand the amount of characters where I've, like 2D illustrated characters where I like, oh, huh. From talking with many other people who play these games, this is a major factor that is maybe a reason why I do not feel the gacha appeal. When I pull a character and I go, oh, they look kind of sick or whatever, that high wears off very fast for me. Whereas other people, they're like, oh, I've been waiting months to get this character that I like a lot. Like, that just isn't a hook for me. So
here's the, like, I realize that the reason is that they, you know, the game has its claws in those people. Also true is you can look up JPEGs online. It's fine.
No, I have that too. I don't like having them in the app. I don't feel any difference between looking at them on Google Images. And the other thing too is you can, for 90% of the characters I run into in these games, even the ones that I find like kind of cool personality or design wise or whatever, they feel so factory made to be likable in a way that, I don't know. I guess also, too, part of this is the idea that I don't have the brain for this that I feel like a lot of people do, where they enjoy the fluff of these individual characters and personalities, and these little, I guess, what you would call shadow boxes of stories or little character interaction cutscene moments that a lot of these games have, but like I don't care about characters outside of like a more, I guess, structured narrative. And that's what falls by the wayside of many of these games, because like the overall plot doesn't matter so much. That's just kind of an excuse to have the characters interact. Whereas I like stories when they end, IMO. I find it harder to get interested in a character if I know that their story is never going to have a thematic closure or end, and the room for them to actually grow and change is stifled by the fact that they need to continuously be an evolving thing that I guess people use as a billboard to get money.
I have the necessary brain to be into gacha is the thing.
Me
I
too.
know this about me. I'm just like, nah, I can't be touching that shit.
I am the person who retweets the art of the gacha girls, even though I don't play the games.
I mean,
Yeah,
this
like-
is yeah.
It is funny because I have tried and bounced off of many of these games at this point, and the conversations I constantly have with the people in my life that are into this stuff is they're like, yeah, what you want out of these games is better served elsewhere in more closed and like traditional narratives.
If I mean it, if I know cover the Hololive gacha game is eventually happening, that's gonna be pain.
See, for me, the Forever games would be better if they just rebooted it every year and it was a different cast, even though it was the same thing. But that's just me.
Mm-hmm.
This is a joke about Kamen Rider and Sentai and stuff.
Yeah. I think everything I've heard about the space train game, I'm like, damn, that sounds all right. Shit. Sucks.
Yeah,
But,
I mean, yeah, I don't know. It seems like a cursed game because it's a gacha game, but also I might check it out just because it seems like, I'll be honest, I am weak to the aesthetics. I did like the screenshots of the protagonist, and also that there is a girl named March 7th.
Did we lose Rasen?
Sorry about that, everyone. Technical difficulties. Where was I again?
We had just said that Honkai, whatever it is, space rail game, sounds good, which is bleak.
Yeah. Honestly, that was my takeaway from this, which was, at least from the little bit I played, I am curious how long, because inevitably this game will annoy me into trying to spend money, and I'll just drop off.
Mm-hmm.
But my major
I'll-
takeaway from this was, oh no, this is the first one of these that seems to be appealing, or care enough about RPG game design and combat in a way that I want my RPGs to think about. Which is bleak.
To be honest, I might give this a shot. Because why not? As long as they don't pay money, I'm fine. And I wanted to try the other Honkai game anyway, so. But also, don't spend money, people. This is your PSA that we're giving you 3 times.
Yeah. Again, I felt weird even talking about it here because it's like 20 million fucking people downloaded this, and it's like, I'm using what little ass platform I have to even talk about this, but also it's like, this is a massive cultural fucking game moment thing, I guess.
I mean, sometimes we bring niche things, and sometimes we bring the most popular thing around.
Yeah.
It just happens.
I think the most. I'm gonna continue to avoid. I think the most I'm gonna engage with any of this is there was a Honkai Impact Radiant Force AMV, which is the track from the 3rd season of Symphogear, and it bangs. That's it.
It does not surprise me that there is a significant overlap between the Honkai 3rd and the Symphogear fandom.
Yeah, Symphogear. That's good anime.
It is good anime.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Mel, What have you been doing?
Did Ryzen have
Oh,
anything else?
unless
I just want to double check.
The only other thing is that this is not going to take long, but my custom stick art finally came. I am now maybe the only person in the world with a Baroque anniversary wallpaper published by Sting as custom stick art. But yeah, I'm happy with how it turned out, and it turns out opening up your devices and replacing the buttons and all that fun stuff isn't all that bad. All you need is a screwdriver and a dream.
I love
Sick.
Dreams, the first opening to Gundam X. I don't know why I said that.
I'm more of a resolution person.
I don't know if I can choose between the two.
We can all have opinions, even if those opinions are wrong.
Wow.
That was mean for no reason. Resolution is also good.
No, I think I said something literally similar to that one time.
I think, you know what, I think I have to give it to Resolution, considering I had it set as my Mban main menu theme for, like... I think it's still set as that, actually.
It's
a good main menu song.
Set your theme?
Mm-hmm.
You can.
Yeah, you can set all of the different menu themes to whatever song you want.
Oh, that's so cool.
You can also, if I recall, you can use a USB to, like, add additional tracks.
Yeah, because of course at Bandai's like, we can't give you all the Gundam songs. Well, you know you want them.
Yeah.
Oh, damn. Man.
Gotta put the SD Gundam Force ED.
One of the most fun times I ever had streaming a Discord game with friends was playing SD Gundam Crossrays and then making all of my friends as characters in the custom character creator and having them send me MP3s for what they wanted their combat music to be, which is how we got great stuff like my friend Julian rolling up in a tank while Cruisin' USA is playing.
Nice.
Good times.
Nice.
Anyways, that's it for my end of things.
Mel.
Hello.
What you been up to?
So last week I said that I didn't do shit because assignments and stuff. Thankfully that's done, so I could do shit. And so I was like, hey, I have free time. I can start picking away at those shows I've talked about in the past that haven't finished. Try and make some progress. Didn't happen. Instead, I somehow binged an entire Toku show in 3 days.
Hey.
Which one?
Let me tell you about Mirai Sentai Timeranger.
Okay. Mirai Sentai Timeranger.
Yeah. Do you want me to send the picture in the chat?
Sure.
The guys?
I want to see. Yeah, I want to see the guys.
Do they time travel?
Well, that is part of the plot. Actually, don't know. So, to be specific,
were these guys a Power Rangers that I may have seen when I was a kid?
Yes.
Okay.
They were the Time Force.
Because there was a... Yes, I did see a couple of episodes of this.
Oh, this is the Time Force. I've heard of the word Time Force. I feel like I've seen that on Power Rangers merch before.
Yeah. Okay. So this is...
They got red and alt red.
Yes, the Sixth Ranger in this one is also a red.
They got Shadow the Hedgehog.
Yeah. Yeah, he's cool. In Time Force, played by Virgil.
Oh!
Damn. But yeah, this is the 24th Sentai season from the year 2000. You can probably imagine why they picked the theme.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It is the second, I believe it's the second main show with the writer Yasuko Kobayashi as the writer. She would go on to write a few other seasons in other franchises like Kamen Rider Ryuki, Kamen Rider Den-O, Kamen Rider O's, Samurai Sentai Shinkenger.
I think, from what I've heard, some of these shows are pretty good, from what I've heard. Yeah.
Would you be surprised to know this show was also good?
Nice.
Alright, so... It is the year 3000, and time travel is varying degrees of illegal.
Yo! Damn.
However, we can't allow people to go fuck shit up. We have to preserve the timeline, and so the organization called the Timrangers is the time cops meant to keep
Time cops.
time stable. Things go wrong in the first episode when let me just look up, when the leader of a mafia gang called the Launders family is being sent away. By the way, criminals in this era are cryo-compressed frozen, where they are shrunk down to action figure size and then put in little capsules where they serve multi-century long sentences. Don't think about it too hard.
They get 1/8 project, but with time on top of it.
See, it's funny. Shit. It's funny because I was thinking of the Boltons.
They get...
So the head of the Launders family, Del Nero, is about to be sent away for, probably like 1 billion years or whatever. But due to some shenanigans, he manages to orchestrate an escape with himself, a few members of his gang, and an entire cabinet full of I don't know, maybe about 50 monsters of the week worth of criminals.
Oh, nice.
Into the year 2000, and then the captain of the team, Captain Aria, gets 4 rookies to go with him, except the captain is not actually the captain, it's one of the Launders guys in disguise, and one of the rookies is actually an undercover cop. But anyway, they land in the past, and now they're like 4 people from the future, and like, well, shit, what are we gonna do? And they happen to stumble across some random guy out for a run, Tatsuya Asami, who is just sort of weird coincidence. He looks like Captain Ria. I wonder if that's important. Anyway, don't worry about it.
No, okay.
They need apparently to activate the Timeranger chrono changers. They need to 5 guys. So they just get well, I guess we got to use this one guy. And so they transform into the Timerangers, and they're like, well, we're stuck in the year 2000. What are we gonna do?
Horrifying.
Yeah. And the situation is just so they're all from the future, and they're all time cops, and well, we're stuck. What can we do? We can't do anything about our fate. And Tatsuya's like, no, as someone from the year 2000, where time travel isn't real, I believe you can change your future if you want. And Tatsuya is he comes from a really big family, rich, his Zaibatsu family called the Asami family. He's trying to escape his fate as the checks notes heir to the Zaibatsu. And he's like, oh, I'm gonna start my own odd jobs business and escape my family's shadow, whatever. And so they basically set up an odd job shop where they do odd jobs and then also do time crimes to stop the criminal gangs who fight. And everyone's got their weird quirks, Domon is the Yellow Ranger. He's a guy who's hits on women and also is a former wrestler guy, and he has a particular homesickness for the future. Shion is the Green Ranger, and he's from another planet called Hubbard. He's the last of his kind, and the people from the future are very quick to tell you, no, you can't call people space aliens. That's politically incorrect. There's the Blue Ranger ISA, and he's he's a former racer, except he has made up anime disease. Which means his days are numbered.
Can't race anymore.
Can he change his future when he is dying from an incurable disease? Question mark. Themes.
Damn.
And then finally you have Yuri, who's she was the detective undercop, and so she's kind of the leader of the team. And her whole thing is her dad was a detective who got her entire family was killed in a hit job by the Launders, and so she wants her revenge and stuff. And she's a super cop, but she's also very cool. And they bond, they go together, they try and we can shape our own path kind of thing. And then the show gets a shake up halfway through when this entire time Asami's dad is hey, this shit with this weird future, well, not future, they still don't know the time travel up, this weird shit with this weird alien gang of mobsters is fucking shit up. I'm gonna create my own private military company to deal with it. And one member of the private military company is Tatsuya's old friend and rival Naoto, who unlike unlike Tatsuya, who's like, I am a rich kid who's trying to escape from the shadow of my rich family, be my own self-made person. Naoto's like, shut up, you're like I'm a poor person who has nothing, and you're like a rich person who has everything. Shut the fuck up, you cunt. And through various circumstances, which include like a robot dinosaur rampaging through Tokyo, Naoto becomes Time Fire, the sixth ranger of the show, who's kind of like a rival, and his whole thing is like, he hates the system where he is like a person with nothing because of his birth, but he's also absolutely going to use the system to try and climb the ranks as much as possible. Who can say how that goes for him?
Shin Megami Tensei.
And yeah, so he becomes Time Fire, which is the second red guy.
Time Fire.
Yeah, it's really cool. He has like a dinosaur gun.
Same.
Yeah. And it's just cool stuff going on. The show, I'm not gonna like spoil the end of the show, but like things do escalate to the point where it's like, oh hey, why is someone from the future helping us? What's up with the captain? What's up with all the weird time warp shit? Oh no. And it does end in like kind of a bittersweet way, which is pretty compelling, I think. I'm not sure how I feel about where things end in the final climax. I'm like, what does this say about the moral or themes of the show? But also, I don't know, I think it was still a really strong, really good show. Good enough for me to like binge in like 3 days anyway.
Yeah, damn.
Yeah, I would say I don't want to like spoil the show too much, but yeah, it's cool. Just all the different shit that's happening. They do use swords that are shaped like clock hands, and that's very cool.
Yo, okay, that's cool. So that's They got yeah. This is like Kingdom Hearts level of stupid in terms of the weapon theming. That's amazing.
Yeah. I show you like the. Maybe I shouldn't like link the OP and have you react to it on camera, because that's like probably take up too much time of the episode. But like,
okay,
this, whatever. I'll just link it anyway. Whatever, fuck it. Cut if we need to. It's just like, it's such a bizarre, wild
I'll
trip.
just kind of skim through it and have a quick look.
Yeah.
Here, let's see.
I will note that the show aired at the same time as Kamen Rider Kuga, which means that being a kid in that particular time would have been fucking wild.
To usher in a new time.
A lot of psychedelic colors in this opening, skimming through.
There are choices being made.
Yeah. Oh, I see the swords. This is amazing.
Yeah, it's really cool. I feel like I like this maybe a bit more than the other Kobayashi Sentai show I watched, which is Shinkenger. And Shinkenger is really good. I'm actually not sure. She has a couple other Sentai shows that I need to see still. Her first show was Ginga Man, which came out in like 98. But the two others by her that I'm more interested in are like Go Busters, which is like a spy cyber themed one, where for whatever reason the transformations say it's Morphin Time.
Oh, nice.
Oh.
And then like a couple years after that, she did Tokyuger, which is the train one.
Train theming today.
Yeah. Also, I don't know what the fuck they were thinking with this eye catch.
There's a lot going on here. This looks like a shit post.
It does.
I was like, what are they doing?
Man, I think bizarre. being the kind of person I am, I think my first show that I'll probably encounter from this writer is probably Kamen Rider Ryuki.
Yeah, that was my first show by her too. Oh no, that's a lie. I watched O's first, and then I watched Ryuki. And then Den-O. Those are all quite different shows, I'd say. But also there's definitely like, I can kind of get a sense of her style, and there were parts in like the end game of this show where I was like, "Oh, you do that again in Shinkenger," or "Oh, this epilogue sequence in the credits for the final episode is just you do the same thing in Ryuki." Okay. This show does predate both Ryuki and like Shinkenger because like Ryuki's 2002, this is 2000, but it is funny when you like get a writer who's done a bunch of shows and you're like, oh, I see, you like doing this specific thing in every single one of your stories.
Yeah.
Like with Inoue and how literally nobody communicates anything. Don Brothers. It is
same.
It is so funny how long they managed to drag out these guys don't know these particular characters' identities in Don Brothers. It's so funny.
Fantastic. I got the. It just makes me think of the Hayata just managing to not reveal his identity at the end of every episode.
Yeah, it's good. Maybe that's why I don't mind it as much. Maybe I'm just too Inoue brained that I'm just like, actually, the fact they don't talk to each other is funny and good, actually.
Yeah.
I'm just like.
Was it Ide or Arashi is starting to suspect though?
Ide. Does he know?
Does he know?
But yeah, I did say that like this year I wanted to try and tackle Sentai, and this was the one I was in the middle of that like I finally did the push to finish. So it's good. I am on the path to maybe do more Sentai. I'm going to try and like do more of it this year, I think. Hopefully.
Nice.
And to that end, as this show has taught us, in my opinion, I can change my fate. I can decide my own future. But so can you two. So I have made myself a spreadsheet of different Sentai seasons I want to watch, and I have organized.
Oh my god!
I have organized them into buckets, based on a certain criteria that I will not talk about. So there are 4 buckets, and from these buckets, I have drawn 4 letters, and you can each pick one, and I will use that to decide a show I'm going to watch.
Okay, so what are the letters?
B, G, H, and J.
I pick B.
Okay.
I feel like I'm in an Uchikoshi game all of a sudden. I'm really nervous.
What are you gonna pick?
I pick J.
Okay.
BJ, yes.
Yep.
That's running a theme on this podcast. Okay.
Now for reasons that are less obvious than it might seem, that was my nickname for a few years.
J?
No, BJ.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
I will not pursue this line of thought.
It was for completely normal reasons, but
Okay.
it did need to be explained.
Okay.
Every time.
Okay. Well, I have taken in your inputs, and I'll come back to you with results later.
Okay. Cool. I can't wait.
This is how I'm bringing the Sentai Segue to this podcast.
I see. The Sentai Segue is real. All right. Well, unless we have anything else, we can talk about Ultraman. This week we got 3 more episodes of Ultraman. One of them I think is really good. One of them's kind of whatever, and the third one is I don't have thoughts about it yet. I will come up with them as I read the summary.
I will say one of these episodes I really didn't care for, but it also did have some of the 2 best minutes of anything I've ever seen in my life.
Okay.
So we'll get to...
I liked all 3 of these episodes a lot, but that may also be related to how I watched these episodes, which we will get into after your recap of the second episode.
I see. Okay. Let me tell you about episode 13, Oil SOS. In Iran, a number of oil tankers have been mysteriously attacked. At night, in Tokyo Bay, a strange flashing underwater light passes by a drunk man. He tells the irritable driver of an oil truck about the light, and he's brushed off. But moments later, the truck explodes, attacked by the underwater light. It emerges and reveals itself to be another two-person suit. This kaiju's design is sick. It's basically two people holding hands, and where they hold hands, there's a kaiju's head. I love it. The squad is called in to investigate, but they can't find anything. The man who saw the monster, now sober, insists he wasn't imagining things. Ide and Arashi spot a flashing underwater light from the VTOL, a light that is rapidly approaching an oil tanker. It explodes as it is attacked by the kaiju. The squad has its work cut out for itself. In the wake of the attack, Iwamoto, who is the scientist from last week, he's been around, though, in episodes beforehand. Now that I have his name, I'm just going to start calling him by his name, because he's sticking around, clearly. He's a scientist attached to the SSSP, a bit like Ichinotani was to the gang.
Okay, I kept recognizing his face, and I don't think I realized until just now you explaining that's supposed to be the same guy, because I was like, damn, they're using this actor a lot.
Yeah, I think it's the same guy. Iwamoto says the monster must eat oil, much like certain microbes. He basically remarks it is unsurprising in this age of oil that an oil-themed monster would emerge, which I found really funny.
That's just how science works, don't you know?
Yeah.
All of these people are just a disciple of Ichinotani.
It's like all those smartphone monsters out there. You gotta be careful, kids. Gotcha, as they call them.
Oh, there's gonna be smartphone kaiju eventually. Anyway, it's cause you'd be looking at that phone. Muramatsu determines the kaiju's next target must be a nearby oil refinery. We get to see the refinery, and it's all model, baby. Shit is about to go down. Fuji brings in a sketch of the monster, and the squad notices the sacks on its body that seem to be full, and they realize it must be full of oil. Attacking this monster in Tokyo Bay is too risky, so they drop barrels of crude oil into the sea outside the bay to lure the kaiju in, and Ide will blast it with missiles from the VTOL. The monster takes the bait and guzzles barrels of oil. Muramatsu gives the signal, and Ide launches the missiles, but the monster is too quick and slips away toward the bay. It briefly appears again, and Ide attacks without thinking. The creature is struck within Tokyo Bay and crawls onto land and goes berserk at the oil refinery. This shit is wild. The destruction of this refinery as the monster starts shooting fire breath and burning the whole place down is amazing stuff.
Oh yeah, it's great.
It looks incredible.
The squad are held responsible by the company that owns the refinery, and Ide rushes out to fight fires on his own, feeling like a bit of a failure.
I just want to say that they are in this scene. They also talk about how the science fire truck won't get here in time because I guess a normal fire truck won't cut it.
No, you need the science fire
need the
truck.
Science fire truck. Ide rushes out to fight fires on his own, feeling like a bit of a failure. The squad variously fight fires and try to find Ide until Hayata finally decides, fuck it, going Ultraman mode and transforms. The kaiju that started all of this has been cowering on the ground due to the fire, but takes a sec to quickly shoot Ultraman in the back. Ultraman turns and shoots his spacium beam, killing the monster. No fight this episode. All the money went on the burning refinery. Then Ultraman reveals a new trick. He shoots water from his fingers to quench the fires and save the day.
Nope, that's the beta capsule goop, actually.
Yeah, I had a joke in the summary about the shot from episode 1 that I erased from the summary.
Don't worry. I'm just putting it on the record now. Anytime we talk about beta capsule goop, it's also going to be a joke about that shot from episode 1.
Yeah, thank you. Good to know. Ide, who had fallen unconscious during his battle with the flames, comes around for just long enough to say he should quit, and Muramatsu to assure him he's a valuable member of the team. The end.
The deep thinking and critical version of Razin watching these 3 episodes, this is his favorite one of the bunch.
This
implies that there's a different favorite under different criteria.
Oh man, I can't wait for them for the other criteria.
But also, yeah, I think this is my favorite episode of the bunch too. It's just a really good episode. It was nice seeing like an Ide character episode in a way, and also the refinery blown up is really sick.
The effects look great. I'm happy. Like, honestly, I have one complaint for this episode, and it's not even that big of a complaint, but I kind of don't like that Ultraman finishes off the monster. I really liked that the SSSP basically, like, were involved enough that they mostly dealt with the problem. Ultraman just finishes them off.
Yeah, he's kind of just does a double tap in this case.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which I thought was funny in its own way. It's just like, yeah, get the fuck out of here, Beam.
But, like, Ultraman's role is primarily to just be, like, doing rescue this episode. I like that a lot. Yes, he is the science fire truck.
If Ultraman got into a fight with this monster as well as everything else that happens in this episode, I think this would be like the platonic ideal of an Ultraman episode. It like in terms of just like showing what the show is. Like just like but you don't have time for everything.
And I appreciate that. I feel like the show is like better for it in a way.
Yeah, I think everything going on in this episode is so good. Just like this is the most Thunderbirds episode of Ultraman yet, and it was really, really good.
Yeah, like I mean, they made a point of like making a science team that Ultraman doesn't solve all the problems. So it's good that the show is actually like doing that.
Yes, finally. I've been a little bummed. Even like the last 3 episodes I liked a lot, and they're more of like a role. This is the first episode where it really feels like, oh, Ultraman is there for further assistance, but like the humans deal with this one. Like a lot blows up and starts on fire in the way to them doing that, but they're responsible for taking this thing down. I enjoyed how we got a second kaiju back-to-back that is just 2 dudes in a suit.
Yes, it's a really cool design.
It's like a starfish kind of, but also as a bat head in the middle.
Starfish with a bat head in where the 2 hands join. It's really good.
It reminded me of the Evangelion angel that splits a little bit.
Oh,
and still nothing.
Okay.
Hey, we'll fucking talk about that when I talk about the director of the next 2 episodes.
Okay.
Oh man. Yeah. I thought that those just like the stuff with Ide firing like the rapid cuts between like the order for the firing the missiles and then Ide hitting the lever and the missiles firing just very like cool stuff. Like the SSSP is just they're cool. They have a cool jet and it does cool things. That's all they need.
Yes. I also enjoy quite a bit from this episode. There's this idea that the real reason the kaiju's the problem isn't because it's a big monster going around and like destroying things. Well, even though that is a problem, the greater issue is that it is a bomb. Like it itself is a bomb, and I liked having that secondary element of danger to it too. It feels like we're starting to get these, and this is ironic because this is the last one we're seeing from that first batch, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. This feels like one where they're going, okay, we can't just have like a monster rampaging being the big threat every single time. We need to think of new ways to raise the stakes as well. And I like that a lot.
Interesting trivia that we mentioned in a previous week. This was I don't think it was going to obviously be like this from the get-go, but like this is based off of like a plan for a cut Ultra Q episode.
Oh, interesting.
Well, yeah, because we did mention before that there was an episode called Oil SOS that was going to be an Ultra Q.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
And we got this instead. I don't know how different the episode would have been. I assume there would be no SSP
Ultraman
or Ultraman.
Shoot it.
Yeah.
Don't know what Jun and Ippei would have done.
They'd be dropping the oil barrels.
You know what? That they would be doing that.
Ippei would have fired the. For some reason,
Yes.
they trusted Ippei with the rocket launcher that one time. Logically, they would trust him with the fighter jet as well, and he would have been the one who did the bad shot.
Jun's the one yelling at him that he shot too soon, just like in the Peggle episode. With the fucking, no, we have
Nobody listens to me,
wait.
says Jun.
The funnier thing is that like the kaiju for the episode was going to be the kaiju that became Boss Sting.
Oh,
yeah. Wow.
I know nothing else about like what
Boss Sting not as cool as this one.
Boss Sting is extremely bottom tier Ultra Q monster.
I don't think he was very high for me. Yeah,
the
this
Toddler was.
Yeah. Not sorry, honestly. Love that little walrus man. Don't know why he's up there, but love him.
He's actually, I think you'd find he's actually a big walrus man.
True.
Up there watching over us.
It's just like Subaraya.
It's him and Toddler chilling in heaven.
Open up to the pearly gates. Oh, how is it here? It's pretty nice, but why is the walrus here?
The walrus was Christian too. Yeah, on the production side of things, all I have is that this was a Hajime Subaraya episode. He makes good episodes of these shows.
Yeah.
Can't wait till he makes good shows.
Yeah.
He's the king is dead, long live the king. It will happen. It's, I know this deeply, being British.
Say the line, Red.
I'm not gonna. They have snipers trained on my house. They want to make me say the line. If I have to say it, I will try to say it in like a weird, like Lelouch menacing way. That's the best I can do.
Who's the writer for this episode?
I did not grab that, unfortunately.
Okay, just whatever. We can edit this out in post.
Yeah.
Beyond the future. Shozo Uehara.
Cool.
Is the writer. I don't know if we've talked about them before. I'll be honest, it's hard keeping track of everyone who's worked on stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even know if that's a pen name. So
it might be a pen name. It's very, very realistic for these shows.
He seems like he's on Ranger Wiki. But anyway, cool. Shows Uehara. If that's everything we have, we can get on to episode 14, the Pearl Defense Directive.
Yeah, so I will say that last episode, I think, is probably my favorite of all of the Ultraman stuff we've seen so far.
It's cool.
I liked it a lot.
It's a really cool episode.
Yeah, it's a good one.
So this next episode, now I enjoyed on the level of like stupid TV. So this episode, Fuji and Ide are out shopping, and Fuji drags him around a jewelry shop. Ide points out she can't afford any of this stuff on their SSSP salary. Pearls especially are more and more expensive because the oysters are disappearing. Fuji thinks it must be because of a monster, and Ide thinks that's fucking stupid. Fuji was right. Ide was wrong. There's a pearl-eating monster that's been eating oysters, and the SSSP are going to fight it. Fuji wants revenge against this monster for eating such pretty pearls. It is a woman's revenge. The squad launched the VTOL as well as another jet, piloted by Hayata. They attack the monster with their new special effect. This is the first episode of the new batch. They have ditched the launchable missiles from the ends of the wings and just gone with, let's just put flashing lights on there and we'll just flash the lights and then we'll have the exploding effects happen on the monster. It's fine. I'm being kind of broad here. They snare it in a net carried between the two jets, but it struggles its way loose and causes Hayata to crash. The squad chases the kaiju as it heads to a beach with a bunch of women on it. It's after their pearls. Listen. Women be wearing jewelry. The women flee, and Fuji finds Hayata, who asks her to go get the jet. or something. She reports to Muramatsu, and he's like, of course, we should launch the monster into space with the rocket. And I'm like, what? So the squad attach a rocket to the VTOL and launch it up the monster's ass and propels it into the fucking sky. Which is the most amazing moment in television.
Only to be topped by the next moment of television.
Yes, Hayata turns into Ultraman and Iron Mans it, collides with the monster, and it fucking explodes. Ultraman flies away, problem solved. Now that pearls are in abundance, even someone on Fuji's salary is able to afford them. Ide says something about pearls before swine, and Fuji makes him carry loads of boxes of shopping for her. Women, am I right? The end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember when we were complaining about Fuji not getting enough to do in the show, and then we have
monkey spot.
Monkey.
Remember when we were annoyed that she would be only paired up with Hoshino? Well,
yeah.
Well, now she's paired up with Ide.
Speaking of which, where the fuck is Hoshino?
Yeah, he hasn't been around.
He's not in the next episode either, which is like,
he just fucked off. He was just done.
He
was just like, I'm a kid. I'm busy. I've got.
He's busy becoming a master alpinist.
Yes,
he wasn't even in.
He wasn't in.
Oh shit, that's right.
He found out about it and was like, "Oh, that sounds cool."
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to the actual Alps.
Yeah.
Yeah, so all the Fuji stuff, like she cares about this because pearls are at stake, is like such dumb, stupid sexism that it's like funny. It's like
it is so cartoonishly shallow.
It is so cartoonish. Yeah, it is so cartoonishly shallow that it loops back around to like I'm watching this episode, losing my mind and laughing.
I feel like this is a good time for me to state that I watched all 3 of these episodes with my girlfriend last night.
Okay.
Thursday, she texted me asking if I wanted to hang out on Saturday night, and that she bought some edibles.
Okay.
I watched...
Okay, so you hung out and watched this episode, hi.
Yes.
Nice.
This monster, the noises this monster makes disturbed me greatly in the moment. Like, I could reckon...
This monster is like a fucking goofy-ass looking platypus motherfucker.
Yes, and I don't know why, but I was very nervous when it was on screen and when it was making noises. I think I said in the moment, it sounds like a bear. I don't think it actually sounds like a bear, but for whatever reason.
To describe this kaiju, it is like I said, it's like a platypus is a lizard, and also it's got a tongue like an anteater that sucks up pearls. And it's weird. I do not like it.
I'll be honest.
The noise it makes when it was crunching, and like there's that fucking scene where they're all around the campfire in the middle of the night and they just hear the crunching of the pearls, and I don't know why, but this was very distressing to me.
It was an interesting tone piece, that's for sure. For that.
Go ahead.
I will say when they do the plan to drop the pearl bombs, one, I was like, damn, this is the second episode in a row they're doing this plan.
Yeah.
And 2, when the pearls exploded, I'm like, oh, I know the strategy. This is what I did when I faced the final boss in Pikmin 1. Why the yellow Pikmin with the bomb rocks?
Of course, yes.
It's exactly like that.
Because of the scaling thing, when they set off the pearl bomb, and the pearls are like clearly the size of like people or something. There's like huge pearls compared to this giant monster. Ridiculous. But I think the moment I lost it and was when the monster went over to a beach where there were just some women, because naturally they had pearls with them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm drawing. Okay, I'm I'm just realizing with the research about who directed this episode, there are some things I'm starting to realize that are kind of funny, but also kind of fucked up.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no. Tell us.
So episode 14 and 15 were directed by a very important man, Akio Jisoji.
Okay.
This person has done fucking everything. Their Japanese Wikipedia article is extremely long. Everyone in the industry at this point in time seems to have some anecdote that is collected on there. I encourage you to go read it. Also has a much shorter English Wikipedia page. I had to pick and choose stuff that was relevant for our needs. So he was a director, screenwriter, novelist. I also think he was involved with manga to some degree or another. Very large body of work across many different mediums. The work he seems to be most known for outside of Japan is very emblematic of his work as a whole, because it's his contribution to the Ultra series across various forms. I believe he did the first Ultra Q movie that we will watch at some point.
Let's go.
The other thing he is known for is his auteur erotic art house Buddhist movie trilogy.
What?
Yes.
Oh.
Mujo, Mandala, and Uta. And this is very representative of something that was even commented on at the time for being kind of bizarre, but he often jumped back and forth with no in-between between working on children's TV episodes and new wave art house movies, often erotic with nature, a lot of them focusing on elements of sadomasochism, non-consensual sex, and the abuse of women. As a result, his work is not very well known in the West, but he has quite the reputation in Japan, especially because he has a distinct directorial and visual style that people recognized as being a little more identifiable compared to a lot of the other directors doing work at the time. Like, a lot of people could just watch stuff being made by him and go, oh yeah, that was Jisoji.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of the Ultra series, he adapted many works of the Japanese mystery and thriller author Edogawa Ranpo, who is just a well-known name in the mystery genre, frequently paid homage to in modern Japanese mystery stories. Notably, in our neck of the woods, people would probably recognize references to a work in the form of Akechi Goro in Persona 5 is just a straight-up reference to his detective character, who stars in many of his mysteries, Akechi Kogoro. There is also a dog in Lost Judgment named Ranpo in tribute to the author. So aside from the Ultra stuff, his weird erotic stuff, and then the mystery adaptations from that author, he is also very well known and celebrated for directing a movie that I've actually known about for a little bit here and am very curious about. It was a movie called Tokyo: The Last Megalopolis, which is a dark fantasy science fiction tokusatsu film from, I want to say, 1988, produced by Toho. It is notable for being one of the most expensive live-action Japanese movies made in all of the 80s. It cost $8 million in the equivalent US money. For comparison, one of the other big Toho movies made around the same time, The Return of Godzilla, only cost $6.25 million. This was an adaptation of the Taito Monogatari series of books, which is an award-winning historical fantasy novel series that popularized a lot of weird fiction and urban fantasy tropes, especially pertaining to Japanese folklore and mythology. The movie was a massive success both critically and commercially. A lot of Japanese art from the late 80s and early 90s has direct references and callbacks to it. The producer responsible for this movie would ride the financial success for this movie into creating other horror movie hits such as Ju-on and Ring, kickstarting the J-horror boom of the 90s and 2000s, and also indirectly being responsible for my screen name.
Okay.
The villain of the movie, Yasunori Kato, was directly lifted. Again, this was an adaptation of part of that book series. He became a pop culture icon. Actor Kiyosaku Shimada's performance in the role remains one of the most beloved portrayals of the character. And this specific performance would inspire a lot of characters in the years following, including M. Bison from Street Fighter and Raido Kuzunoa from Megami Tensei.
Yo!
And then, there's a lot on this guy. Our friend Hideaki Anno is in the mix here. Hideaki Anno's live-action visual style takes heavy inspiration from Jisoji. The love was mutual, as Jisoji was a large collection of character figures, including many Evangelion figures. In the recently released Shin Kamen Rider, Anno included a tribute to the late Jisoji by including a specific configuration of the 4th generation of Honda Accord, which Jisoji had a particular fondness for.
Okay.
So, in terms of Ultra stuff, he wrote 2 episodes of Ultra Q that were not completed and were just left in the back burner. More importantly, however, he directed a contemporary TV documentary called The Father of Ultra Q.
That is a thing that does not have subtitles, but I might try and look into seeing if we can get subtitles for it.
Interesting. Okay. It is just on archive.org, because I looked into this too.
Yeah, it is. Only the RAW exists, but...
This aired between the episodes Metamorphosis and Fury of the South Sea. It is primarily an interview with Eiji Tsuburaya that focuses on the special effects work on the show, but then also, I guess, foregrounds his faith a little bit too. And as we have discussed, does not have subtitles. So technically that was his first Ultra series contribution, was that TV documentary. In terms of his work on Ultraman, he was noticeable for having some distinct style elements that set him apart from his contemporaries. One, he did not like to have Ultraman defeat the enemy with the Spacium Beam. He thought it was too easy of a solution, which honestly, I kind of respect.
Yeah.
He did not mind cutting out or shortening hard-to-make special effect shots if it made the story flow better, which set him apart from many of the other directors working on Ultra Series stuff at the time. He felt that the story had higher importance than visual effects did, and he didn't feel the need to put in camera shots or long lingering shots of just monsters walking around or doing stuff. This resulted in him butting heads a lot of the time with the visual effects staff, who wanted their work to be highlighted. And he went, no, we're making stories. We're not, this isn't just a showcase for visual effects.
We gotta tell the people that women be shopping.
Also, bro, I'm sorry. This is a show for special effects.
Yes.
As much as I do kind of agree with you, also, every episode of Ultraman does open by saying, a special effects show.
Yes, I do feel that there is an important balance to be struck there. And then also, as we will discover in the next episode he directed, which is the third one we're going to be talking about, his episodes often deal with the pros and cons of defeating a monster just for the sake of human convenience.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, that elongated sequence of the women at the beach fleeing in terror hits a little bit different knowing the rest of his work, especially in the art house erotic space.
Yes.
I will say...
Okay, go ahead.
I will say, we will hear more about this guy in the future.
Okay.
Nice.
I will also say the only other thing is that when Ultraman defeats this thing by colliding with it in midair, I gasped audibly and my girlfriend laughed at me.
I let out a really big laugh for that entire section, but especially when it exploded.
The thing about this episode is we've kind of brushed over some of the cool stuff because
There's a lot happening here.
Yeah, there's a lot happening here, and like there is cool shit happening. Like the campfire scenes are, like you said, really creepy and weird. Like just like hearing the noise of the kaiju like chowing down on pearls is like it's weird. And
okay, I'm happy this wasn't just me being high.
Yeah, I mean, definitely was unsettling and weird and things.
And yeah, I liked the cooperation between the team to fight the monster. The two jet plan with the net seems very irresponsible, but was very cool. Yeah.
Tomino taking notes.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really have anything else about this episode beyond man, women do be shopping.
Yeah.
Women do be buying pearls.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked this episode, but oh god, everything involving Fuji this show continues to continually do her a disservice, and it makes me sad.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I don't think I cared for much for this episode at all. I just didn't care for it. I did extremely like everything to do with the rocket exploding kaiju, but otherwise,
yes,
that was amazing.
Well, on that note, we can continue on to episode 15, which is it called Terrifying Cosmic Rays?
I think so.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
My sub said something about terrifying space rays or something. Anyway, a bunch of kids show off drawings of kaiju, but one stands out. Mushiba's drawing of Gabadon.
Also the drawing of Beethoven.
Yeah, there is a drawing of one of the kids has drawn Beethoven, or either that or there was just a drawing of Beethoven on the wall. Mushiba's drawing of Gabadon, an unthreatening looking white tadpole type of thing. Everyone laughs at him, and in his frustration, he draws Gabadon again on a pipe on a construction site. The squad gets a call from the Space Ray Research Center. There's some funny looking space rays on the way. Stand by for weird shit. The space rays turn Mushiba's drawing of Gabadon into a real actual kaiju. It mostly just crawls around looking cute though. The kids are losing their minds. This is the coolest thing that has ever happened.
Same.
And the squad are a little alarmed and keep tabs on the creature until, at the end of the day, it crawls into the sunset and literally just vanishes.
I gasped once again. I do remember being blown away. Cool. It could just like disappear like that.
It was cool. The squad realizes the reason it vanished. It is created by the cosmic rays and will disappear when the sun disappears at sunset. Ide points out that if you leave this kaiju alone, it just sleeps. In order to reduce casualties, the squad decides to simply observe Gabadon until it disappears at sunset. Overnight, the kids all gather at the pipe and decide to draw Gabadon again. This time, colouring him in so he looks a little more exciting. The next morning, Gabadon appears, complete with a new garish colour scheme. As planned, the squad observes and doesn't bother Gabadon. Gabadon has the city as his playground, and what does he do? He sleeps. He sleeps in the streets, only waking up to move to different, more comfortable streets to sleep. King. Sunset comes, Gabadon disappears, and everyone involved... Gabadon disappears, and Muramatsu says, well, that sucked and ruined the logistics of Tokyo, so while some innocents will have to die, it's time we fought Gabadon properly. Ide has a better idea. Gabadon is born from a drawing, so all they have to do is erase the drawing before the sun rises. Now, if you haven't watched the episode, I want you to understand what I'm about to say is not a joke. Arashi and Muramatsu think Ide's plan sounds really boring and think it would be cooler to have a fair fight with Gabadon. Meanwhile, the kids are having similar feelings. They think it sucks that all Gabadon does is sleep all day. So this time, while drawing him, they give him words of encouragement. Do your best, Gabadon. Oh, man. The sun rises, and Gabadon finds a nice spot to sleep. I love him. The SSSP rolls up with the JSDF, with like tanks, and they initiate an all-out assault on Gabadon, which is rude, very rude. As Gabadon runs away, the squad spots the kids on a bridge, yelling at the tanks to stop hurting Gabadon. Hayata chases the kids, but has the weakest tumble so far.
He's more like unbalanced, man. Am I right?
yeah, unbalanced. He just kind of stumbles into some water and is like, oh no, I've fallen over and I can't get up, and then goes Ultraman mode. He transforms and fights Gabadon while children beg him to stop. Amazing. Absolutely unhinged show. Anyway, he carries Gabadon into space. Late at night, the kids throw rocks into a river, and Ultraman's voice reaches out to them from space. Don't worry, every year on the 7th of July, you will be able to see Gabadon again in the stars. And the 7th of July is a Tanabata Star Festival thing. It's related to stars. A Gabadon constellation sheds a tear. It's daytime. Kids draw monsters all over the ground at a park, and Muramatsu looks horrified. As the narrator tells us, it is the right of children to draw monsters. The end.
The dumb, wow, cool monster part of Razin thought this was the best episode this
is a good episode, I think.
Yeah, this is a good episode. I've settled into my opinion as I read it.
This is a Kanagon tier episode, which is funny because they both mentioned Kanagon is here, and also Hoshino is not here for some reason.
Yeah. They got a bunch of kids. They didn't get Hoshino. It's weird. But I guess Hoshino just isn't in this show anymore. The various iterations of Gabadon, they're all great. Every single time, him just like, when they egg him on, when they cheer him on to be like, oh yeah, do your best, Gabadon, you know, doing the fucking, what's the Digimon Adventure 02 bit, from the English dub, you can do it, and even if you can't, we won't think any less of you, man. you got a lot of nice friends there, Davis. It's like that for Gabadon, and then Gabadon waking up in the morning, appearing and just immediately walking over to a spot and just like sweeping it a little bit and then settling down to sleep. What a good kaiju.
The first form is so goddamn adorable. I love it so much.
My opinion is that it's really cute, but also in some ways unsettling, as you might expect like a flat drawing to be. Like, because it has like empty eye sockets, kind of. And it's just like
it stares at you like a fish creature.
Yeah, like
you expected would.
Like it's like a cute drawing, but if that thing was like 3D, it'd look kind of fucked up, and they do carry that. Like, it's cute but unsettling. I also really like the effect when like the second form of Gabadon was like being like coming to life, and just like the way it was like
it's like bulging out.
Yeah, it's bulging from the pipe.
And it like the heartbeat kicks in, and it's just it's cool. It's a very cool effect. You are right. I'd forgotten to mention it.
The fact that the second form has like human teeth too.
Oh yeah.
Really freaked me the fuck out. It looks so unnatural in like a cool way.
Muramatsu at his most evil this episode.
Yeah, I was just like
absolutely.
Taking the pandemic isn't actually over approach to things. Where it's like, well, some people will have to die, but the economy, you know.
Yeah.
If I had to make Shin Ultraman, I would have included this as like a moment of like, well, we need to justify the SSSP's budget somehow.
And then the just Ide being like, we could just do this peacefully. We could just make sure there are no casualties. And then Arashi and Monokatsu are like, nah, that's stupid. And then the kids, and then the immediate next scene is the kids also going, yeah, it's cooler when the monster does fight and cause destruction, to be honest.
Yeah,
It is.
it's
It
so
is.
fun. They're like,
Rip to you guys, but it is cooler when you die.
yeah, it's so funny. Oh man, just them shaking hands across the aisle on this issue. This is so good. The fucking the thing that didn't make it into the summary was the incredible moment where I was like, oh my god, was Ide just being like, well, Gabadon only appears in the morning when the day rises, and Fuji's like, yeah, we know that, and he's just like, shut up. So
yes, that does happen.
He's just like, be quiet. I was like, Fuji, know your place.
Yeah, she's apparently supposed to be making coffee for the captain. Apparently.
Yeah. That's what she should do. That's her job. That's all she does, and sketches monsters apparently, or retrieves sketches of monsters. I don't know if she's actually that. She was not very involved in the revenge against the pearl-eating monster. Now that I think about it, she was not very involved.
No,
she did go find Hayata and then have to go back to make sure Hayata could become Ultraman.
This is true. I suppose that's the most that anyone can do in Ultraman. Other than when the Science Patrol is wrecking house.
Like when you throw a rocket, at a monster and explodes. That's pretty helpful.
That is pretty helpful. That's all. So far, Muramatsu 2 for 2 on throwing like a grenade or a rock at a monster and it just fucking dying.
Yeah, this is true.
I guess that's why he's the captain.
Yeah,
it's like a when you get I was supposed to make an IBO reference, but I'm not going to do that.
Okay. I feel like we haven't seen his pipe in a while. But yeah, this episode's it's another kid episode. It's another episode with the kids, which means it's just a fun, goofy time.
I'm so confused. They literally got a kid character as a main part of the cast,
and they just
he's gone.
He's just not in the show.
I wonder if there's like scheduling conflicts or limitations with how often, like, maybe not like in the late 60s, but I wonder if there's some sort of restrictions on like child actors that means he can't be around all the time, or what the deal is.
It's possible. It's I like to imagine he just got bored and ran off. He's just having his own adventures. He's waiting for his spin-off that's never going to happen.
He's one of the Ultra 7.
Yeah, that's it. There's his presence in like the first few episodes of this show is just foreshadowing for Ultra 7.
Apparently Hoshino's actor played Saburo in Ultra Q, the kid from the Bird episode.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
So that's why the SSSP picked him up.
Yes. They're like, he has dealt with this before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, oh man.
Damn, I thought Yuriko had dealt with this before, but apparently not.
No, rip. Yuriko is so much cooler than Fuji. What happened? What happened between these two shows? What's going on? It's weird. Anyway,
it's like shocking how pronounced the difference is, honestly. Like they regressed hardcore from where they were at with how they treated their like woman lead. It's bad.
Yeah. Oh well. Do we have any? Oh, did you already talked about that?
It was just OG again.
It's the same guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. We did a good job. This episode's good.
I've liked all 6. Like horrific sexism aside, I've liked all 6 of the last few episodes. We've seen a lot.
That's me watching Gundam. Yeah. I'm liking Ultraman.
Yeah,
it's a good show.
It's good. We are, guess, like over a third of the way through now.
Yeah,
something like that.
It's 39, right?
Yeah, it's 39.
Yeah, we're into the second. Oh, it's also worth mentioning now that we're into the second batch. The Ultraman mask helmet looks so much better now.
It doesn't look like it's been crinkled and left in someone's closet for a week before they put it on.
Yeah, I feel like I didn't notice as much just because I feel like Ultraman wasn't in the episodes as much this week, but like it is noticeably better.
Yeah. Everything got a little update, a little upgrade. Although I don't know that getting rid of the launchable missiles from the VTOL is an upgrade. But I can see why it's much easier.
Yeah.
I mean, if the kaiju are more impressive or stuff, then sure.
Yeah, it's a lateral upgrade. Cool. Well, I don't have much else to say about this episode. So, unless anyone has anything else.
Nope.
No.
I am gonna go into plugs.
We gotta do the timing.
Oh yeah. Give us the timers.
Episode 13, 2 minutes.
This seems about right.
Episode 14, 1 minute and 4 seconds.
Damn.
Yeah, he got it done quick.
Yeah. Episode 15, 1 minute 58 seconds. All of them with crying children.
Oh man, this show is so unhinged. It's so good.
Yeah.
I love how evil Ultraman is. I've come right back around. I'm like, I can't wait for him to murder Kanagon in the most brutal way possible.
Possibly by just flying into him.
It is funny that like Kanagon was mentioned in this episode as a kaiju.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kanagon.
It's funny like, oh yeah, the kaiju Kanagon, and not the Kanagon that happened to a guy I know.
Yeah. I hope that when Kanagon comes back, he's still got the yen counter. I hope they haven't got rid of that. It's an essential part of Kanagon's makeup. Cool. Well, if you want to follow the show, we'll get into plugs. If you want to follow the show on Twitter, you can do so at @ultra_Q. That is at @ultra_QUEUE. If you want to follow me on Twitter, I'm at @gender_redacted. If you want to follow me on co-host, I'm at November. I will post about Command and Conquer eventually, but I've been very preoccupied this week. Mel.
Okay. My sometimes Twitter is at @DearCrowns. I have a Twitch, Cosmic_Crown. If you want to email us, you can do it at ultraqpod@gmail.com. Please do.
Yeah,
please do. And Razin.
Yeah, I'm at Rosenbrand on Twitter, and also you can find me at my YouTube channel, Rosenbrand. That's all I got this week.
Sick. Well, next week, we are covering episodes, 16, 17, and 18?
That sounds all right.
Of Ultraman, not Ultra Q. Ultraman.
You did it right this time.
I remembered this week. God damn. Listening to that back, I was just like, what are you doing? What are you, mate? Come on.
Twice in a row.
Get your act together. Twice in a row. Alright, well, we will see you next time. Bye for now.
Goodbye.